So, when I say the word genie, what pops into your head? Probably a big, blue, super friendly guy in a lamp, right? Ready to grant 3 wishes. But what if I told you the original figure, the one from folklore, is something else entirely? Something way more complex, way more powerful, and a whole lot harder to pin down. Okay, let's get into it.
See, on one hand, you've got the genie we all know from pop culture. Benevolent, lives in a lamp, grants wishes. But then, there's the Jinn of actual folklore, and those words are very different. Volatile, elusive, beings that literally walk between realms. So today, we're going to peel back all those layers of animation and myth to get to the real story of the Jinn.
And to really get a handle on them, we have to go right back to the very beginning, to how they were created, because that's what makes them so different from everything else.
At their very core, Jinn are supernatural beings born from a smokeless or scorching fire. Now, this isn't just some cool origin story. That fiery element is the absolute key to understanding them. It's the source of their incredible power, their free will, and yeah, their famously volatile temperament.
Now, this is where it gets really fascinating, right? When you see where they fit in the grand scheme of things. Angels, they're born from pure light. Us humans, we're made from earthly clay. But the Jinn, they come from that smokeless fire, and that gives them an essence that's totally unique, something volatile that exists in a space between the spirit world and our physical one.
And, being born from fire like that, well, it grants them some pretty incredible abilities. Let's talk about maybe the most famous and honestly the most unsettling one, their complete mastery of disguise. Okay, this is absolutely central to what a Jinn is. The ability to shapeshift isn't just a party trick, it's a fundamental part of their being. And what that means is that their true form is something a human could probably never know for sure. They are masters of being fluid and fleeting.
Which leads to the big question, right? If they can literally be anything, what kinds of forms do they actually choose?
Well, folklore gives us a few pretty common examples. They can show up as animals, dogs and snakes are mentioned a lot, or, and this is kind of creepy, they might disguise themselves as just a regular person passing by, moving through our world completely unnoticed. And sometimes they can take on these grander, winged, more ethereal forms. The sheer variety is just staggering.
Now, what about their motivations? It's not that all Jinn are inherently evil. That's a misconception. It's more that they're unpredictable. This shape-shifting is often used to deceive or cause trouble, to lead a traveler off the path in the desert, or just to inspire absolute terror. They're beings with immense power, and they're definitely not bound by human ideas of morality.
But changing their shape is only one piece of the puzzle. Their next major ability takes this elusiveness to a whole new level, the power to become completely and totally unseen.
Yeah, as if being a master shapeshifter wasn't enough, Jinn can also just vanish. They can make themselves totally invisible, becoming these spectral, formless entities that could be standing right next to us. And this quote just perfectly captures the psychological weight of that belief. I mean, really think about it for a second. The idea that these invisible beings could be constantly around us, watching us, maybe even influencing our lives. That adds a whole different layer to reality, doesn't it? This feeling of constant, unseen observation.
But here's the thing. Don't mistake their ability to be invisible for a lack of substance. These beings are so much more than just phantoms. We're talking about incredible, tangible, physical power.
So this is crucial. Even with their shifting ethereal nature, Jinn are physically powerful. The lore is really consistent on this. They are described as being far faster and far stronger than any human could ever be.
And if you want a sense of scale, look no further than the legends of King Solomon. It's said that he actually commanded an entire army of Jinn to do massive construction projects, including building his legendary temple in Jerusalem. That's not phantom power, that's concrete, world-shaping strength.
And just to add another layer of complexity, some traditions even classify them into different types. You could almost think of them as tribes based on how they get around. So you have the kind that fly through the air, the more ethereal ones. Then you have those that usually take animal forms like dogs and snakes. And then there's a third group that travels just like us, walking the earth in a totally human form.
All right, that was a lot to take in. So let's pull all of these different threads together and get one final clear picture of these incredible beings.
So, what's the real nature of the Jinn? Well,
It all starts with that fiery origin. And from that fire, you get the mind-bending power to be anyone or anything through shape-shifting, or to be nothing at all through invisibility. And underneath all of that is a physical strength that is just far beyond our own.
Ultimately, the Jinn really do occupy this unique space. They exist in a realm that's not quite human, but not purely spiritual either. They are a third category of being, entirely distinct from the angels of light and us mortals of clay.
And that leaves us with one final and kinda chilling thought. If these beings can look like anything, or look like nothing at all, how would you ever truly know if one was right there with you? Something to think about.